I am Annapurna.
I am Priya.
On behalf of Department of Commerce, Maharani Lakshmi Ammani College for Women, I extend a warm welcome to all of you for today's panel discussion on Union Budget. We are excited to have our esteemed guests, panelists, faculties and enthusiastic students to join us for this insightful session on budget highlights and their implications.
Maharani Lakshmi Ammani College for Women was instituted by Dr. K.N.V. Shastri in the year 1972 with the intent of providing quality education to women in Bengaluru. MLAC was granted autonomy status in 2016 and has been re-accredited A grade by NACC. MLAC offers a diverse range of undergraduate and postgraduate in arts, science and commerce management, tailored to meet contemporary industry demands. MLAC nurtures students to become confident individuals and capable leaders through various extracurricular activities, clubs, and outreach initiatives. The college encourages holistic growth, making it nurturing ground for young women aspiring to excel in diverse fields. The Department of Commerce was started in the year 1983 and since then the department has been working towards promoting quality education. We would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Edify Institute for their generous sponsorship. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. We appreciate your support. I would like to thank our event sponsor Malgudi Amrita Chaha, a healthy sip. Founded by Mr. Shivraj Kumar H., they serve healthy, traditionally prepared beverages at affordable prices. We appreciate their support and contribution to making this event a success.
I would like to extend a warm welcome to CA Anala Padmanabha, Consult and a Director at McKinsey & Company. Thank you for joining us. We welcome you, ma'am. I request Bhuvaneshwari ma'am to welcome Anala Padmanabha, ma'am. Also privileged to have Dr. Nagabhushan Baganadu, Associate Professor, Tumkur University. We welcome you, sir. I request Bhuvaneshwari ma'am to welcome Dr. Baganadu, sir. We welcome you, ma'am. USC Coordinator Aruna HK, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am. I would also like to welcome HOD of Department of Commerce. I would also like to welcome all my teaching and non-teaching staffs. Welcome you. I would also like to welcome all my students. We welcome you.
गणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटि प्रकाशं शान्तं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिम्.
To set the stage for discussion, let us brief reflect on the key highlights of the Union Budget 25. I call Ms. Kaveri HP, Ms. Gauri Ashok, Ms. Likita M and Mariam.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಶುಭ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ. ನಾನು ಗೌರಿ ಅಶೋಕ್, ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ MLAC ವಾರ್ತಾ ಕೊಠಡಿಗೆ ಆದರದ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರವು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಂಡಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದು, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಾಯ ಮತ್ತು ಇತರ ಖರ್ಚಿನ ಲೆಕ್ಕವನ್ನು ಸಾದರಪಡಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. 2025-26 ಸಾಲಿನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಆಯವ್ಯಯದಲ್ಲಿ GDP ಶೇಕಡ 6.8% ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆ. ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ IT ವಿನಾಯಿತಿ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್? ಹಣಕಾಸು ಸಚಿವೆ ಸತತ 8ನೇ ಬಾರಿ ಆಯವ್ಯಯ ಮಂಡನೆ. ಇಂದಿನ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ 3ನೇ ಅವಧಿಯ ಮೊದಲ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಬಜೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಡವರು, ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೂ ರಿಲೀಫ್ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆ. 1ನೇ ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ 2025 ಮಂಡನೆಯಾದ ಆಯವ್ಯಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಾಂಶಗಳು: ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾರ, ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ನೆರವಿನ ಬರ. ವಾರ್ಷಿಕ 12.75 ಲಕ್ಷದವರೆಗೆ ವರಮಾನ ಇದ್ದವರಿಗೆ ಆದಾಯ ತೆರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ರಾಜ್ಯದ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಯೋಜನೆಗೆ 7,264 ಕೋಟಿ ಮೀಸಲಾಗಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಜನಗಣತಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಕ್ಷೀಣ. ಆಯವ್ಯಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ 524.80 ಕೋಟಿ ಹಂಚಿಕೆ.
Good afternoon. I am Likita. Welcome to our special coverage of the Union Budget. Agriculture sector gets rupees 1,27,290.16 crores and Kisan credit card limits increased to rupees 5 lakhs. Investments limit increased by 2.5% and turnover limits doubled. The government has established and estimated to spend rupees 50,65,345 crores in 2025-26. This is an increase of 7.4% as compared to the revised estimate of 2024-25. The Union Budget 2025 introduced major tax reliefs for salaried individuals, senior citizens and homeowners. The nil tax slab has been raised from rupees 7 lakh to rupees 12 lakhs under the new tax regime benefiting middle class taxpayers. On to the direct and indirect taxation. There are several key changes proposed with major focus on rationalization, GST improvements, simplification and tax compliance reforms. Thank you.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम मरियम। वित्त मंत्री ने भारत के सूक्ष्म, लघु और मध्यम उद्यमों को समर्थन देने के लिए कई उपायों की घोषणा की। इन उपायों में सूक्ष्म और लघु उद्यमों के लिए ऋण गारंटी कवरेज में पर्याप्त वृद्धि शामिल है, जिसमें गारंटी कवर 5 करोड़ रुपए से बढ़कर 10 करोड़ रुपए हो गया है। शिक्षा मंत्रालय के लिए कुल बजट आवंटन 1,28,650 करोड़ तक पहुंच गया है, जो 2024-25 की तुलना में 6.22 की वृद्धि दर्शाता है। अगले 5 वर्षों में सरकारी स्कूलों में 50,000 अटल टिंकरिंग लैब स्थापित किए जाएंगे। रक्षा क्षेत्र के लिए 6.81 ट्रिलियन रुपए के आवंटन की घोषणा किया है। परमाणु ऊर्जा मिशन और अनुसंधान विकास पहलों के लिए 20,000 करोड़ रुपए आवंटन मिला है। संशोधित उड़ान योजना से 120 नए गंतव्यों तक क्षेत्रीय संपर्क बढ़ेगा। धन्यवाद।
Good afternoon, I am Kaveri. A substantial budget of rupees 99,858.56 crore has been allocated, which marks a 191% of increase over the past decade. The budget has proposed the establishment of 200 daycare cancer centers in district hospitals by 2025-26. 36 rare life-saving drugs are exempted from customs duty. 6 life-saving drugs get 5% of concessional duty. Rupees 3,125.96 crore allocated to Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. India aims to develop 100 gigawatt of nuclear power by 2047. 5 indigenous small molecular reactors to be set up with a budget of 20,000 crore by 2033. Solar energy got the highest allocation of rupees 26,549 crore with a clear focus on rooftop solar with PM Suryaghar Yojana. Thank you.
ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಸಾರಾಂಶವು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಾಯಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಇಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಮುಖಾಂಶಗಳು: 205 ಭಾರತೀಯರಿಗೆ ಅಮೆರಿಕ ಗೇಟ್ ಪಾಸ್, ಟೆಕ್ಸಸ್ನಿಂದ ಹೊರಟ ಸೇನಾ ವಿಮಾನ ಅಕ್ರಮ, ವಲಸಿಗರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ವಾರ್, ವಂದೇ ಭಾರತ್ ರೈಲು ಆದಾಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚಳ, ಇದರ ವೇಗ ಮತ್ತು ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಜನರ ಮೆಚ್ಚುಗೆ, ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಭಾರತಕ್ಕೆ 12ನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನ. ಇಂದಿನ ವಾರ್ತಾ ಮುಖ್ಯಾಂಶಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸಮಾಪ್ತಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you, MBLAC News Channel. I now invite our Dr. Nagalakshmi BN, Principal of MBLAC, to deliver welcome address.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. The session is Decoding Union Budget 2025. It's my distinct honor to inaugurate today's panel discussion on Decoding the Union Budget 2025. We are privileged to have with us esteemed panel comprising CA Anala Padmanabha, Dr. Nagabhushan, Mr. Shivraj Kumar, Mr. Aryan DJ, and our moderator Dr. Abhinandan. The Union Budget 2025 presented by our Honorable Finance Minister has introduced crucial reforms that shape India's economic trajectory. The budget emphasizes tax relief for middle income groups, agriculture development, innovation and green energy, while also aiming for fiscal discipline and long-term economic growth. Notably, the budget proposes significant income tax reforms, including a complete tax rebate for individuals earning up to 12.7 lakh under the new tax regime. This move is anticipated to boost household consumption and savings, thereby invigorating domestic demand. In the agricultural sector, the introduction of the Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana and enhanced credit facilities through the Kisan Credit Card scheme aim to empower farmers and promote self-reliance in key crops. These initiatives are expected to strengthen the agricultural backbone of our economy. The budget also emphasizes research, development and innovation with a substantial allocation of 20,000 crore to foster private sector driven initiatives. Additionally, the establishment of a second gene bank for crop germplasm underscores the government's commitment to ensuring future food and nutritional security. However, it is imperative to critically assess these proposals. While the tax reforms are poised to enhance consumer spending, concerns have been raised about the potential impact on revenue and the adequacy measures to stimulate long-term economic growth. Analysts have noted that the budget leans towards short-term economic relief rather than implementing significant reforms necessary for sustained growth. As we discuss the implications of this budget, let us focus on its role in achieving India's vision for sustained economic growth and financial inclusivity. Today's deliberations will help us critically analyze its impact on various sectors and future policy directions. So, before I conclude, I extend my sincere appreciation to the Department of Commerce, faculty members, HOD for their commitment in organizing this panel discussion, and a special thanks to Dr. Abhinandan who has successfully coordinated this event for the 8th consecutive time. Your dedication has enriched the academic discourse on financial policy year after year. And also for students, since you are the future citizens and the leaders, please interact and please see that this Decoding Union Budget 2025 will have a takeaway message for you and you can implement it whenever you become entrepreneurs or whenever you enhance your careers in any field which you choose. So I look forward to an engaging and thought-provoking discussion. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm words and inspiring insights. It's my pleasure to invite Professor Manjula Shekhar, ma'am, Head of Department of Commerce, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Annapurna. Warm greetings to our esteemed principal, vice principal, administrative officer, the chief administrative officer, the finance officer, the IQSC coordinator, esteemed panelist, moderator, faculty members of the Commerce Department, my dear colleagues and my dear students. Now, when we talk about Viksit Bharat, envisioned by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, aims to transform India into a developed nation by 2047, its 100th year of independence. Education plays a very vital role in envisioning this and achieving this vision. The initiative focuses on inclusive human resource development and social justice with strong emphasis on education. The Prime Minister has launched Viksit Bharat 2047, the Voice of Youth program, that is you, the younger generation, which encourages youth to contribute ideas and suggestions for achieving the vision of Viksit Bharat. The program aims to channel the energy of students and youth towards achieving the common goal of Viksit Bharat. Some of the key goals of Viksit Bharat, which emphasizes an education sector, include inclusive human resource development, skill development, education infrastructure, research and innovation. Now moving on to Union Budget. Union Budget of India is one of the most significant financial events in a year. It lays out the government's economic roadmap for the coming year. When talking about vision of Viksit Bharat or Vishwaguru Bharat, the Union Budget plays a very crucial role in supporting and advancing the vision, especially by directing the resources towards the sectors that are very vital in the country's growth and global leadership. Let's get insights and carry some key takeaways from the esteemed panelist discussion today. Welcome to all and happy learning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words and support. It's now time to welcome our distinguished panelist members.
I am delighted to welcome Advocate Aryan DJ, legal professional from Bengaluru. Aryan has a strong educational background, having completed his BA, LLB from BMS College of Law and has participated in over 200 debates, winning more than 85 awards. His vision is to bridge the gap between the law and its beneficiaries, ensuring that justice is accessible to everyone in our diverse society. Recently enrolled as an advocate on record with the Karnataka State Bar Council, Aryan has also served as a legal advisor for the Karnataka State Police and has been actively involved in raising awareness about the social issues. Today, we look forward to hearing from him and gaining insights from his experience. We welcome you, sir. I request Rajeshwari ma'am to deliver the memento to Advocate Aryan DJ, sir. Budget. With over 20 years of experience in corporate and strategic management, Anala brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table. She holds multiple prestigious qualifications, including an MBA in Finance and Strategic Management from Stanford Graduate School of Business, CA from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and CIMA from the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants in the USA. Anala has held significant roles in leading organizations, including her current position as a senior financial consultant and vice president at McKinsey & Company, where she specializes in finance strategies and policy making. Additionally, her experience as a resource person for the World Bank has equipped her with the valuable insights into human capital projects and economic development initiatives. Her expertise in strategy building, decision making, and financial modeling, combined with her passion for teaching and sharing knowledge, makes her an invaluable asset to our discussion today. We are excited to hear our perspectives on the Union Budget and its implications for our economy. I request Rajeshwari ma'am to deliver the memento to Anala Padmanabha madam. We welcome you, ma'am.
Dr. Nagabhushan Baganadu, a renowned scholar, author and a researcher. He hails from Doddenahalli village in Tumkur, Karnataka. He holds a master degree and a PhD from Bangalore University. He is currently working as an associate professor in Kannada department at Tumkur University. Dr. Baganadu is a passionate advocate for social justice and has been actively involved in various movements. His research interests in the field of folk culture, Dalit literature and theatre. Dr. Baganadu authored several significant books. He has also contributed significantly to the field of theatres by exploring themes on untouchability and Dalit identity. His work is widely recognized for his academic region and its commitments to social justice. It is an honor and privilege to have Dr. Nagabhushan Baganadu with us today. We welcome you, sir. I request Bhuneshwari ma'am to deliver memento to Dr. Nagabhushan, sir. Thank you, ma'am. It is our pleasure to welcome Shivraj Kumar sir, the founder and executive of Malgudi Amrit Chaha, a healthy sip. Shivraj Kumar sir is a truly visionary and a passionate social impact leader. His commitments to empowering rural youth and promoting healthy living is truly inspiring. Through Malgudi Amrit Chaha, Shivraj Kumar sir has created a unique platform that not only serves healthy beverage but also provides opportunity for rural people and needy youths to achieve their dreams. We are honored to have Shivraj Kumar sir with us today. Look forward to hear his thoughts and experience. Please join me in welcoming Shivraj Kumar sir. We welcome you, sir. I welcome Administrative Officer Dr. Anadanis sir. We welcome you, sir. Assistant Professor of Commerce at MLAC College will moderate our Union Budget 25 panel discussion. A PhD in microfinance and UGC NET qualified, Dr. Abhinandan's research spans diverse areas like green marketing, AI and finance modeling. He has published extensively and authorized textbooks on marketing and environmental studies, with significant teaching experience at institutions like Christ and Bangalore University. He is a member of Indian Commerce and Accounting Association. Dr. Abhinandan is a frequent speaker and panel expert on various topics including finance, taxation and digital transformation. This is his 8th consecutive year moderating the Union Budget panel at MLAC, where his insights into policy and economic trends are highly valuable. We are honored to have with us today, sir. We welcome you, sir. Institute for their support, generous sponsorship. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. We appreciate your support. I would like to thank our event sponsor, Malgudi Amrit Chaha, a healthy sip, founded by Mr. Shivkumar H. They serve healthy, traditionally prepared beverages at affordable prices. We appreciate their support and contribution to making this event success. Let us dive into much anticipated panel discussion on Union Budget 2025, moderated by Dr. Abhinandan sir.
Firstly, I welcome all the panelists for being a part of this program for the Union Budget panel discussion, what we call decoding the Union Budget. Before we start the Union Budget panel discussion, there are some few terms and conditions that we will try to tell to the panelists as well as the audience. This program is exclusive for discussing on the Union Budget, and this program here only for the purpose of academics. We are not here to talk about any politics or in favor of or in against to any political party. We are here to talk about what the policy is all about, and this is basically to ignite your thoughts, and these thoughts will help you to in future, as ma'am said, when you take up your career in future as a policymakers or wherever you go to the choice of your career, this will help you to decode the Union Budget. This is an idea about it. I hope the program, what we have scheduled, it will give you a lot of knowledge. That knowledge can able to carry forward in future also. And with this, I also want to tell my panelists that we have a recording the video, this program, and this will be telecasted in the YouTube in the coming week, ma'am. So that is also one of the things that I have to tell you in advance. With this, we are trying to start the program of a panel discussion. Firstly, as the Union Budget comes, every year there is Union Budget comes and goes, and there is always a greater set of a prominence. And we as an academician come to institute, and we deliberately bring the scholars from different set of a field and make them to talk about the Union Budget is all about. So, Dr. Nagabhushan, I think you can able to talk about it. Why do you think the Union Budget plays very important, and why do you think this? We have to discuss about this kind of a budget in current sphere.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮಹಾರಾಣಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಅಮ್ಮಣ್ಣಿ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರು, ಉಪಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರು ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಒಂದು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರ ನಡಿಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಅಂಥದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಾಯತ್ತ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಡೀ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ಮಿತ್ರರನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಅಭಿನಂದಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ಆಯ ವ್ಯಯ ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ, ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? ನಾವು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಹೌದಾ, ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಫ್ರೀ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಯವ್ಯಯ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಆಯವ್ಯಯ ಪತ್ರ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷವೂ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರವೆರಡೂ ಸಹ ಮುಂದಿನ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕುರಿತಂತೆ ಮಂಡಿಸುವ ಒಂದು ನೀಲ ನಕ್ಷೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ? ನಾನಂತೂ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಇಡೀ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ನೀಲನಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಅನೇಕ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳು ಅಂದರೆ ಆಯಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಯಾವ ಇಲಾಖೆಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಇಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕುರಿತಂತೆ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಂಶ. ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಅಭಿನಂದನ್ ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿರೋ ವಿಷಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಂತೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಿ ಅಂತೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ನನಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಆಚೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದೇನು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡೀಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಕೇವಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಮುಂದುವರೆದಂತೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ.
Coming to the other aspect, I'll make sure that all the panelists will introduce a topic, then we'll go ahead with a one-on-one discussion on the certain aspects. I'll come to Anala ma'am. I think in the budget they're talking about the middle class budget. They're talking about the budget will kickstart the economical growth. Do you think this is a budget which talks about the economical growth?
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'd like to thank the college and the administration for having me here. Thank you, Abhinandan. The first thing that I want to point out to everyone present here is budgets are not about one individual or one sector of people or one sector of industry. The budget is for everyone. That's why it's called the union budget. Otherwise, we would have called it budgets for individuals. It is not about one person or one community or one political party or one political agenda. It is written in order to give shape for what we call as the Indian civilization. It has to take shape in terms of growth, in terms of equality, in terms of freedom, in terms of self-expression, and also in terms of development. In all aspects of life, that is what we are looking at. But if you want to look at Union Budget 2025, the middle class aspect of it is one part of it. But if you want me to grow down to the niche of middle class, it's a very friendly budget for the middle class. I mean, because with 12 lakhs of exemption, but the exemption still is not very clear, because they have to clear what is known as a marginal relief that the government is planning to give. But the bill is due sometime in August. Students would love to know that our Income Tax Act has not been revised since 1961. So don't you think we are already Gen Z, Gen Alpha and Gen Beta on the workforce, and we still haven't cleared our income tax laws? So it will be a new law. Definitely the middle class is the power of this country. They are the ones who run this economy. So definitely a middle class oriented budget, I would say.
Okay. We'll come back to Mr. Aryan. Mr. Aryan, in the budget, if you see, the budget can be classified into two aspects. One is on the aspirational, the Vikasit Bharat, what we talk about it. Other one is about the growth aspect that we talk about, the four engines, what we're talking about. Do you really think, let us, again, for the audience also, my entire set of questions are divided into two parts. One is on aspiration aspects, other one is a journey on the 4-engine aspect we are trying to talk about it. So let us talk about, to Mr. Aryan, you can able to tell, as I told you in the beginning also, will you think the budget will kickstart the economical growth?
Check. Okay, hello everyone. That's not the response I want. Hello everyone. Henmakle strong guru. You need to be a little more vocal, yes? Okay, so I am Aryan, as all of you know. I'm an advocate practicing. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be, you have deemed me fit to be on this panel. But anyways, it's actually a wonderful opportunity to be talking about the union budget, given the fact that it kind of decides the destiny of this country, where this country will land up in the next 1 or 5 or 10 years. Because one single move that the union budget makes is going to have a ripple effect. And towards the end of it, you're going to face a lot of troubles, or it could come out shining out well. So talking about the economic growth, yes, the sectors of defense, agriculture, social welfare have been dealt even in the past. Yes, that's nothing new. And those are the components, those are the core aspects on which we can't even comment, right? But the concept where we find some lacuna is on the concept of research. Now, yes, research has positives and negatives. There is no particular allocation, or there's no direction given towards research. But then it's not given in the R&D jargon. If you see, there is an allocation of 10,000 crore rupees for the startups alone. So that will boost the economic growth in a way. Also, there is the Mudra Yojana which is coming up, which has been in place before. Also, that promotes the economic growth of the country. The startups are given a choice, and the highlight of this budget, the 12,75,000, the tax benefit that has been given. If you take that, don't look at it as a concept of the middle class alone. Take up that concept and look at the extra money that goes in the hands of people. That money gets invested into startups, gets into investments, gets into the engine of growth for this country. So again, it is falling back into the economy. So what do we need to understand is, the government may not have laid emphasis on research or economic growth in specific ways, but there are plans, schemes, policies which the government has proposed to ensure that economic growth is not hindered or it has not been stunted. At the same time, we do need to realize that the budget is not the only scheme or the only goal through which the economic aspirations of this country can be achieved. There are several other policies, several other schemes, several other measures through which the country will develop, is what I feel.
Thank you. We'll come back to Mr. Shivkumar. I think you can also talk about it. What is aspirational? The government is talking about the Vikasit Bharat. Do you think with the help of the Vikasit Bharat, India can able to think about the forecast economical growth?
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲ? ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ 2ನೇ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರನರ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ರು, ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರನರ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆದಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅವತ್ತು 10 ಔಟ್ಲೆಟ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇವತ್ತು 60 ಔಟ್ಲೆಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ 2ನೇ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ. ಸೊ ಅವತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂತೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು 60 ಔಟ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅಭಿನಂದನ್ ಸರ್ಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜ ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ 12 lakhs ಮಾಡಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. 12 lakhs ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿನರ್ಸಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಏನೇ ಆದಾಯ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ನಾವು GST ಕಟ್ಟಲೇಬೇಕು. ಈ GST ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು GST ನೀವು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ತಿರೋ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಬಂದಿರೋ ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅಮೌಂಟಲ್ಲಿ GST ಕಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ 40 lakhs ಅಬೋವ್ ಬಂದರೆ ನಾವು GST ಕಟ್ಟಲೇಬೇಕು, GST ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮದು ಡೈಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಫೋನ್ಪೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಪಾನಿಪುರಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಅವರು 2-3 ಔಟ್ಲೆಟ್ ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು 40 lakhs ಅಬೋವ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆ GST ಆಫೀಸರ್ ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಥರನ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಈ ಭೀಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನು, UPI, ಫೋನ್ಪೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ಅದೊಂದು ಫೇರಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 12 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೋಂಥ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಮು ಸೇವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇವಾಗ. ಸೊ ಎಂಟ್ರಪ್ರನರ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಂಚೆಲ್ಲ 9 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ 8 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. 8 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ತನಕ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಜಿ ಎಸ್ ಟಿ 7 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ತನಕ ಜಿ ಎಸ್ ಟಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸು 7 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗೋದು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಸೊ ದುಡ್ದಿದ್ದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೇವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಈಗ.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಈಚ್ ಪ್ಯಾನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಶೇರ್ ದರ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ರಿಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ದಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ discussion on the topic that we have to discuss about it. If you see, most probably, the most commonly that all 4 panelists talked about the middle class. So budget is talking about the middle class. Who are those middle class and what do they need? Do they need the tax exemption or do they need the job?
ವರ್ಗವನ್ನು ಭಾಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರವಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಂತೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, 12.5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತದ ಶ್ರೇಣೀಕರಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಬರೀ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡೋರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಭಾಗ ಇದೆ, ಬಡತನದ ರೇಖೆಗಿಂತ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗದ ಬದುಕು ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಆಲೋಚನೆಯನ್ನು ಕುರಿತಂತೆ ಯೋಚಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ನೌಕರಶಾಹಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಈ ನೌಕರಶಾಹಿಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು 12.5 ಲಕ್ಷದವರೆಗೂ ಅದು ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅದಿನ್ನೂ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದು ಇನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಈಗ 12.5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು
ಅದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು? ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಏನು ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ? ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್
ನಾನು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಈ ನೌಕರಶಾಹಿ ಅದನ್ನಷ್ಟೇ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೋ, ಅಥವಾ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರಬಹುದಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬಿಲೋ ಪಾವರ್ಟಿ ಅಂತಿದೆ, ಬಡತನದ ರೇಖೆಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿತವಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳ ಕಡೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಬಹುತೇಕವಾಗಿ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ರೈತಾಪಿ ವರ್ಗ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಕೂಲಿನೂ ಹೋಗದೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಏನು ವೈಭವಯುತವಾಗಿ ಬದುಕಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗದೆ ಅಂಥ ವರ್ಗವನ್ನು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೇವೆ ಸರ್. ಆದರೆ ನೌಕರಶಾಹಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಯಾರು ನೌಕರರು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂತೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ವಿವರಣೆಗಳು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ವಿಭಜಿಸಬಹುದು. ಆದರೆ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವರ್ಗ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಗುರುತಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಾಗ ಭಾರತದ ಶ್ರೇಣೀಕರಣದ ಸಮಾಜ ನಮ್ಮ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಭಾಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ.
ಓಕೆ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆರ್ಯನ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಜೆಟ್ where if you the expenditure on a certain aspect has reduced, even you were talking about that time initially, don't you think this will not be able to kickstart the economic growth?
If I may add to his statement, so I was asked the question, what is middle class, right? If we were to go back to the archaic times and Mahabharata was brought in to be reference, Madhyama Pandava Arjuna is equal to the middle class. I'll tell you why. Because he played the pivotal character, and the middle class in this country is playing the pivotal character. I do not want to undermine the rich or the people who do not have enough for subsistence in this country, but they are under so much of fear in this country, let me tell you, because I'll be digressing a little bit. So I have seen working in the police department, there will be a rich person, his phone will work. The poor person, nothing will work. But for a middle class person, he will make the system work. And the laws of this country are working because the middle class are following the rules. Alright? So we need to understand that the budget, although seems like oriented only for the middle class, at the end of the day, somewhere it is catering to the private players of this country, is what I personally feel. Moving on to the question where the moderator has directed, economic growth cannot be stunted given the fact that, to be more precise, there was a recent example, right? There was a recent video that somebody sent it on social media. So they were like, this government had tax slabs for 12 lakh where the government would take 4 lakhs of money of whatever you earned. And today the Modi government, or rather let's keep it apolitical, so the government is not charging you anything even if you earn 12 lakhs. But you need to understand there's something called as purchasing power. all right, and the spending capacity, and that has eventually increased over decades and decades of time, right? You cannot go ahead and say that I will eat 4 chapatis today and compare yourself to a child when you were in the kindergarten. That's your capacity. Similarly, the country is growing every day, and the economic growth will not be stunted given the fact that people will find diverse options today. Initially, let's take 5 years back. If I were to go and ask my mom, like, what would be the best investment, she would give me only 2 options. One is gold, second is real estate. Nobody understood what is a mutual fund, or what is savings, or what are the portfolios. Nobody understood that. The educated crowd is coming up, and education in the previous financial education in the previous decades or the previous years was very restricted to people who are of professional capacity, or people who are interested only in finance, and people who do not have anything else to do. But eventually, it is kind of a boon, I might say, of the Instagram and things like that. You see people waking up at 8 in the morning, going to the gym, 9 they're trading, and 10 they're asleep again, and they're still printing millions, right? Maybe that is one of the causality which is interesting people to get into the investment sector. But then eventually economic growth will not be stunted given the fact that people are looking at diverse options of investment. And again, that's like putting seawater back into the sea. So marali manege, it will go back, the money will go back, is what I feel.
So thank you, and I'll come to Mr. Shivkumar. I is in the industry, and industries where in the budget, I think a lot of opposition parties also talking about the lot of job opportunities to be created. You please tell me where this job can be created in an economy? How do you create the jobs in economy?
ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದರು. ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾನು ಬಡವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಇವಾಗ ಇರೋಂಥ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಲೈಫು. ಸೊ ಅವನು ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲೇ ಲೈಫ್ನ ತಳ್ಳೋದಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟು. ಸೊ ಈ ತಿಂಗಳು ನನಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಫೆರಾರಿ ಕಾರು ಬಂದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ನು. ಸೊ ಈ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಏನಂದರೆ ಸರ್, ಇವಾಗ ಇವರು 12 lakhs ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಸೊ ಆ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಅವ್ನ ಗ್ರೋತಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಏನಾರು ಒಂದು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೋದು, ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಒಂದು ಎಜುಕೇಷನಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. I'll come to Ms. Anila. There is an economical growth which tells about economic growth is much lower than what is projected year ago. Do you agree with this? What the statement talks about?
Yes, I do. Because let's talk about a few statistics. Because I think statistics speaks louder than any other things. Number one, our defense expenditure has gone up. We need, because of the given political and unstable conditions that is created around our borders, so we really need to do that. So obviously a lot of money is pumped into building defense systems, so that's one of the reasons why the government cannot take initiatives in terms of building economic power. Second thing, manufacturing has come down. For some reason, despite having all the good manufacturing projects that government has launched, manufacturing is failing to take off. I don't know, we still have to investigate why manufacturing is not going up.
This manufacturing sector is like a magic. Since 1950, the government is trying to stress more on manufacturing, but the manufacturing is not happening. But the point is, today also we talk about the manufacturing, but the policies are not sufficient to give the creation of a job. That is
we do have a lot of policies in place for manufacturing. But Abhinandan, now that you've opened this is like opening a box of worms. Absolutely. You can please feel free to contribute.
Check.
Okay, am I audible? Yes, great. So talking about manufacturing as such, today I think India is more focused on volume and not actually the quality of products. If we look at the China and the Taiwan war or the China and the Taiwan tension right now, we could be the best semiconductor producing unit
Absolutely.
in the entire world right now because we have the resources for it. And semiconductors are so small in nature, so we do need to focus on quality. Given the fact that India is also a part of Quad, and we have our naval systems which could provide protection to Taiwan or even protection to the semiconductors that we produce. But I do like to ask that question, why India isn't making a move in the manufacturing unit, especially the semiconductor industry?
Well, I have the answer for that because semiconductors have raw materials. I mean, the largest raw material right now is procured from Africa. And what we have done is, in these past many years, we have never engaged Africa with us. ಈಗೇನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ China is already invested $200 billion in the African economy. ನಾವು $100 billion ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. So we are not, I mean, they are the hub of raw materials today for semiconductors. ಏನೋ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಸಿಕ್ತು, ಬ್ರೆಜಿಲಿಂದ ನಾವೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಬ್ರೆಜಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಮ್, he will not allow South America to trade with India because they want to pretty much conquer the semiconductor industry. China has a huge source of silicon and all the other transiem or something that's as it's called. Adardu huge source ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾ. ನಾವು ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ರೀಸನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಂಗೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾ. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್, you know, ಈ ಸಲ ನಾವು ವಿ ಹವ್ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆನ್ ದ G20. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ದೆಮ್ ಅ ಬೆಟರ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಂಟಿವ್. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಅನೇಬಲ್ ಟು ಡೂ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಸೊ ಆ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಬರದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೆಮಿಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊಡೆತ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವರು, ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ AI. So you have media coming in, you have Google building their largest data center here, you have Facebook, Meta building their largest data center in Chennai. So ಇವರು ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಜಾಬ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗಿವನ್ ದ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ದ ಲಾರ್ಜೆಸ್ಟ್ human capital producing company in the world, I mean country in the world. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ ಅಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ಸ್. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ವೇ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪಿನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೇ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ದಿ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್. ಇವಾಗ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ we still have to do we need to achieve a lot of milestones in education. Ivaga, how are you going to make students skilled in AI tools? AI na build ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. AI tools ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಗೇರ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? And it is fast changing. We don't have any laws for AI. ಇನ್ನೂ AI's laws ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀತಿ ಆಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದಿನ್ನೂ AI ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. AI, we have created a monster actually. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? Everybody talks about AI. But we are focusing on building technology, but we are not focusing on building manufacturing capabilities. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಕ್ವಾಡಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಬ್ರಿಕ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸಿಂದನೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, G20ಇಂದನೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾರಿಫ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಟ್ಯಾರಿಫ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಹೈ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಚೈನ್ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸೆಮಿಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಅನೇಬಲ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಆಫ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ರಿಸಾಲ್ವ್, ವಿಚ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಕಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಯರ್ಸ್, India has every capability to become the next semiconductor giant.
Ma'am, I do agree and thank you. But then there recently, even when the South African premiers entered the country, there were around 42 MOUs signed, and we are asking them for cheetahs. We could have asked them for gold and mining rights there. And instead, South Africa needs a lot of industrial development, like your bridges, your roads, and India is very good at that. The Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highway says that मेरे पास बहुत पैसा है, मैं तो बोलता हूँ आप लोग आओ मेरे से पैसा मांगो और highway बनाओ. So we could use his Mr. Gadkari's expertise on making sure that we exchange some intelligence there and get gold and silver. I mean, that's what China has done. When we say China has 80%, it doesn't mean necessarily they have it within their territory. It is allocated. And the way China is expanding and creating a pearl of strings around India, I think if we don't wake up, it will be a black warrant against
We
our
have the
neck.
diamond strategy actually.
But it ain't working right now.
No, because adding on to what Aryan just said, what you said is right, Aryan. Adre, don't forget there is a larger, the big brother is at play at at the African subcontinent.
The big brother apparently is getting his hairs a little more done and permed, because the big brother, even he is apparently scared of China right now, and he is placing his own pawns in the game of chess to ensure that the king doesn't get killed and the knights go in the battle, is what I feel. But all things said and done, ma'am, we are still a child. We are just 75 years old. And I think it will be too soon to make a statement that India should be on top of its game. But I think diversification of understanding what the country needs is definitely necessary, be it manufacturing, educational sectors, AI. And yes, that is what I just feel.
Supplementing to the what we're talking about, the economical growth, I think, Shivu, the supplementing to the questions what I was talking about, economical growth, we are talking about the fiscal deficit. I still remember the former Honorable Finance Minister, Arun Jaitley, who was talking about the fiscal deficit should be at 3%. But today, the Finance Minister is proudly saying the fiscal deficit is about 4.8%. Do you think it has got worse or is it good?
This is like asking the question, sala tagolad tappa anta. No, see, this is a typical mentality, alva. No risk, no return game ilve illa business alli. Alva sir? So, ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. See, I'm sure as Department of Commerce you will agree that we call it as a balance sheet for a reason.
Very true.
So the liabilities and the assets have to be managed. But deficit ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ, this is my personal standpoint, what I have understood over the years, 3% is a very ideal deficit to have to any country. But if you look at countries like China, the United States, Soviet Union, ಅವ್ರು ನಮಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಡೆಫಿಸಿಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಡೆಫಿಸಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಂತ ಯಾವ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಈ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಡೆಫಿಸಿಟ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಫಾರಿನ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ that is excellent. We have reached up till $3 trillion. It's climbing. ಸೊ ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಈ ಡೆಫಿಸಿಟ್ನ ಯಾವತ್ತು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ that will be our saving grace. So having a trade deficit, I mean what finance minister said is 4.8% ಇದೆ, ಅದು 4.4%ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. But that requires that we improve our exports. So exports again, it is it is an entire thing that comes
also
back.
sir, the very harsh reality that we face today is, when you talk about India, the first thing that comes to minds of other countries or the premiers of other countries, they say that India gives us the best agricultural produce.
Correct.
We are still stuck in that colonial empire where we are just giving out agricultural produce. We have the potential to be, even in the recent budget, a new action plan for being the biggest and the best toys hub in the entire world is being set up.
Yeah.
Now that is something we have to celebrate, and like I said, we need to expand that area. When you say make in India, people don't buy that product. When you say made in Swiss, made in US, made in or any other country apart from China and India, people will be running to buy that. And I think that is where we need to work a little bit, even if we are not manufacturing on huge scale. Even there is a recent focus startup where leather products and auxiliary units of leather products are also being focused by the government of India. I think that and all will work when India starts transitioning from the agricultural country to a country of various capacities. IT, we have always been there in the field.
Coming to Dr. Nagbhushan, I think you can able to take this question. What makes news will not translate into economical growth, will not create job opportunity? Do you justify the statement? I repeat my statement. What makes... Okay. Okay. And what makes news will not translate into economical growth and will not create job opportunity. Here the job, what making news in the everyday is basically middle class, middle class, middle class. The question arises again, economical growth. I'm talking about aspiration for Vikasit Bharat 2047. Ultimately, our goal is to understand where we have to talk about the first aspect, the aspiration growth.
Okay. See, aspiration andre something that you want to achieve. Yeah. So this is like a goal. When you were talking to the students, for that matter, anybody who spoke to the students today, they said when in future when you build your careers and become policy makers, that is how you portrayed that students are going to be. I mean, I will ask. I'll be brutally honest. Please don't take me wrong. ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋರೆಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಮೇಕರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ? ಎಸ್, ನೋ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ವರ್ಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಹೋಮ್ ಮೇಕರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇನ್ನೇನಾದರೂ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ದೇರ್. ಐ ಮೀನ್ ವಿ ಡೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ಸ್. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಥರನೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ದ ಫೋರ್ ಪೀಸ್, ದ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ದ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಬೇಕೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರಬೇಕು. Sometimes there's also the social influence, there's also the economic influence, there is a political influence, socio-economical, cultural influence. All these things kind of come together. So ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೊಡೆತ ಬೀಳೋದು ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಅಂಜಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಅಂಜ್ತೀವಿ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ. ಈ ಟೂ ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಗ್ಲಾಮರಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ತಾನೇ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರಂತೆ, ದಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರಿಟಿ ಹಿಟ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಆ.
ಇಡೀ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋ ಸುದ್ದಿ.
ಸೊ ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರಂತೆ, ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರಿಟಿ ನಾವ್ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್, ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಯಾರೋ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರಿಟಿ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಬೇಕು, ಆ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಮರ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದು ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಮರ್ ಇದ್ರೇ ನಾವು ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ವೇಸ್, ಆಲ್ that is spoken will also have an economic consequence, perhaps not at a mega level. At a micro level definitely ನಮಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಜೆನ್ಸಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಜನ ಆದರೂ, ಆರ್ಯನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಹೌ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಓವರ್. ಈಗ ಜನ ಹೇಗಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೈಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರದೇ ಹೋದರೆ ಅದು ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಫೀಲ್.
Okay, I'll come to Mr. Shivkumar. I think in the budget they're talking about the gig workers. Can you please tell what is gig workers? What do they want? Do you see those gig workers in your industries? Yeah, and they're small workers. Yeah.
ಸರ್, ಇದು ಒಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ಕೆಲಸದಿಲ್ಲ ಇಂದೊಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಈ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಚನ್ನಪಟ್ಟಣನ ಬೊಂಬೆ ನಾಡಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇರೋಂಥವ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗಳು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಗೋರ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲಿನ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ.
Okay, please, you can take.
Okay, since we are on the topic of gig workers, so the gig economy is something that is going to make a huge impact into the country's financial status. Why I say, first there was only the formal and the informal sectors. Today there's a third sector called as the gig economy. Now a lot of you might not agree with me that gig economy, Swiggy, Zomato, travel partners, Amazon, are they going to make an impact? Trust me, they are going to make a huge impact. Let me tell you why. They also fall under the middle class status, yes. And when you see the age calibration in the gig economy, it is very young, right? People, and first of all, I see no shame in people working as gig employees, because I have seen a lot of stigma in the beginning of gig economy, that people were like, oh, neenu delivery marta idya. But eventually you see it is coming up in the news. It is sensitizing the people that this is an alternative system of living your life. How do you expect a child to pay tuition fees to schools when their parents are not able to afford? This is the boon that the country needed. When you say America is great, UK is great, everybody started from a gig economy. Even if you go to the greatest of universities, you see people who are working in the gig economy. Our very own former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was working as a pizza delivery boy when he was studying in a university, which was in UK. In the Cambridge, to be specific.
So was Anil and Mukesh Ambani.
Yes, absolutely.
They were also working as...
And that also kind of instills a discipline, financial discipline, and also discipline, social ethics in life. And how does the gig economy affect you? Simple. The 12 lakh concession that is again given, the limitation that has been received, removed again. Again, that money gets into the hand of these gig employees. That goes into one, improving your education, improving your skill set, or working into your healthcare, or even if you are above the age where you are in a position to understand and learn, you'll go invest that money into a future generation. That is the sustainable development. So gig economy is something that is going to make an impact, and that is very much needed in the country, provided one, they are treated with respect. Because if there is no respect in a profession, nobody wants to take up like ask anybody, they just want to be CAs or engineers or lawyers or doctors or policemen or civil servants. And the concept of business itself needs to be respected a lot, because this country is running on businessmen. Yen sir, nija alva.
Just to add on to what you said, Aryan, I'll give you another statistics that has just recently come out in the 2025 budget. People who have done undergrads and post-graduation, their chances of finding a job is 19%. Bari 19%. I mean, not sorry, it's the other way around. Sorry, please forgive me. It's 3.4%. Gig economy workers sige kelsa sigake 19% jasti agide. So that means the economic cadre of people is increasing. So definitely people should look into the gig economy.
But the point here is the gig workers are not the permanent source of an income, where there is a temporary source of income where they get it at the time of when they start working. Otherwise, they will not be able to get the source of income. The point again, ultimately we have to talk about the middle class is one, whether they are able to get the source of income or they need a source of a job. A constant job.
Both. You need both. See, a job is what is going to create an income, isn't it? Now, what do you do with an income? If I'm allowed to share an experience, a personal experience of my own, ಈಗ ಒಂದು 6 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಓಲಾ ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ ತಗೊಂಡೆ. So that guy was, I mean, it was a small car. So we were just going and I asked him, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಅಂತ. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಾನು ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಗೈ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪನಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಐ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ವಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದೆ. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಸಾಕಾಯಿತು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಇವಾಗ? ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಕೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ತುಂಬ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 9 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ 3 ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. NSE, BSE, ನಿಫ್ಟಿ 50, ನಿಫ್ಟಿ 100. 3 ಗಂಟೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಓಲಾ ಡ್ರೈವರು. ಓಲಾ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ 3 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ 9 ಗಂಟೆ ತನಕ. See, who wouldn't want an additional income? See, as I'd like to emphasize on what Aryan just said, the dignity of labor is something that people have to recognize. Now, a colonial past mindset itkondu ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ನ ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ವಿಕಸಿತ್ ಭಾರತಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ನು ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಲೇ ಈ ಥರ ಸೆಪ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ವರ್ ಸೋ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಗರಿಂಗ್, ಅಭಿನಂದನ್, ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಇಯರ್. ಅವರು ಉಡುಪಿ ಅವರು ಯಾರೋ. ಹಿ ಸೆಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನೀವು ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಟ್ರೇಡಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇವಾಗ 2 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಒಂದು 22 ಲಕ್ಷ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರು. ಎಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಗೈ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಬೈ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಆರ್ CA like me or a lawyer like him or anything. A very simple technician guy who worked with software testing company. Now, this is what is going to create opportunity and income at the same time. ಇವಾಗ ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಈಗ ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಇಷ್ಟುದ್ದ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಅವನು. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಒಂದೇ ಅಂತ ಆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಸೆಡ್, ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಬರೀ ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟು, ಗೋಲ್ಡು, ಮನೆ ಇದೇ ಅಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ plenty of things that is available today. Yes, and that does not require huge amount of capital. So let's say if somebody is a gig worker, if he is able to save even 4,000, 2,000 per month, put it in mutual bank which is just for 2,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees will become 25,000 rupees in 1 year. With an increase of 28%, 29% growth from the stock market, it easily can multiply. See, that mindset needs to be developed today. So I feel gig economy is something that is going to run parallelly, which is going to create additional incomes, which creates additional jobs, additional economy.
So adding to that only, I think Dr. Nagbhushan can take this. What are the solution for unemployment and what are the solution inflation? ಈ ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗಗನಕ್ಕೆ ಏರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, and what are the reasons, one, and ಅನ್ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಹೋಗಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್? ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ ಅಥವಾ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಏನು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮೆಜರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು?
ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಅದರ ನಿವಾರಣೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ, ಪ್ರತಿ ದೇಶದ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸದೃಢವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾನವ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕೆನ್ನುವುದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಯಾರು ಆಡಳಿತವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಭಾರತದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆಯಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗದ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನವನ್ನೇ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲೋ ಅವನು ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಆಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತು ಕೌಶಲ್ಯ ಆಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದು ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೋ ಆ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಅಗತ್ಯವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾವು ಕೇವಲ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯಾಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೇ ವೇಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುವುದಾದರೆ ಭಾರತದ ಒಂದು ಆತ್ಮವನ್ನೇ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಂಥ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಎದುರಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಕೇವಲ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುವುದಕ್ಕಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಉದ್ಯೋಗವಂದ ಆಚೆ ಒಂದು ನೈತಿಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ತುಂಬಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೂ ಸಹ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಭಾಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಲೋಚನಾ ಕ್ರಮಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾಲಿಸಿಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳ ಪಾಲಿಸಿಗಳು ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೇವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ 1992ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಉದ್ಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅನ್ನುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಇದು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಪಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ತಂದಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಮೂಲ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯವನ್ನು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡೋದು ಶೇಕಡ ಒಂದು 20% ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಆದರೆ 80% ಅವನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾನವೀಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಗ್ರೌತ್ ಆಗೋದು ಹೇಗೆ, ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೇಗೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವ ಕಲಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನಾವು ಕೌಶಲ್ಯಾಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ನಾವು MBBS ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಆದರೆ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ತನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಪನನ್ನೇ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರ ಮನಸ್ಸುಗಳಿಂದ ತನ್ನ ಒಡಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಅಕ್ಕ ತಂಗಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ತನ್ನ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹೆಂಡತಿಯ ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನೇ ಕಟ್ಟಲಾರದು ಒಂದು 5-10 ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯ ಆಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಪಡಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಭಾಳ ದೂರ ಸರಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗದ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಯಾವುದು ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ, ಆ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗದ ನಿವಾರಣೆಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಗತ್ಯತೆಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಮುಖ್ಯನೋ ಅಥವಾ ಒಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಭಾರತ ತನ್ನನ್ನು ತಾನು ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನೈತಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯದ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಮುಖ್ಯನೋ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಸುಮಾರು ಈ 2 ದಶಕದಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಪ್ರಭಾವಿಸ್ತಿರೋದು ಯಾವುದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನೈತಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾವು ಅಮೇರಿಕನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಎಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವೇ ಅಮೇರಿಕದ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರೋದು ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದುರಂತವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಿದೆ.
ಸರ್, ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಹೇಳೋದಾದರೆ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತಿನದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರನರ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಾದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೆಲವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಂದು ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿಗಳು ಇವತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಷ್ಟೇ, ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಉಚಿತವಾಗಿ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಈ ಥರ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಾಲ ಥರ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನೀವು ದುಡಿರಿ ತೀರಿಸ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಹೊರತು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು ನಾನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿರೋದು ಒಂದು ಏನಂದರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಭಾಗ್ಯಗಳು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಮುಂಚೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ರೂರಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡವರು ಒಂದು 15,000 ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಇವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ತಾಯಿ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಎದುರುಗಡೆನೇ ಇರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಸಾಕು ನನಗೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲೇ ಏನು ಬೇಕೋ ನಮಗೆ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಬೆಳೆಯೋಂಥವ್ರು ಬಂದೊಂದು ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಒಂದು ಜೀವನ ಕಂಡ್ಕೊಳೋಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೊ ಅವರು ಕಟ್ಟಾಕಿದ ಥರ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಇವತ್ತು.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಮುಖ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆದಾದ ಮುಖ ಇದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಪಡೆದ ದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾತು ಅನ್ವಯಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಫ್ರೀ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಫ್ರೀ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಏನು, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಏನು, ಸೊ ಇವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಗ್ರಹಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಇವನ್ನು ಗ್ರಹಿಸದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗಿಂತನೂ ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಈಗ ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 15% ಜನರಿಗೇನೆ ಭೂಮಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷಿ ಆಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಏನನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೃಷಿಯನ್ನು ಆಧರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಂತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಿಸಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ 3 ಲಕ್ಷ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಂತೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಗಳನ್ನು ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬೆಂಬಲ ಬೆಲೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಕೃಷಿಕರನ್ನು ಕುರಿತಂತೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದಿರ, ಆದರೆ ಆ ಕೃಷಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಕೃಷಿ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರಾಗಿ ಏನನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗ? ಆ ಕೃಷಿ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರಿಗೆ ಈ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಕೂಲಿ ಮಾಡುವವರಿಗೆ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಲೋಚನಾ ಕ್ರಮಗಳು ಇಡೀ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ವಲಯವನ್ನು ಆವರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಇಡೀ ಜಗತ್ತಿನೊಳಗಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಘರ್ಷ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಕಟದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದೊಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. 1400 ಯೋಜನೆಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಬಡವರನ್ನು ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾರತದ ಸುಮಾರು 75 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ 1400 ಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಇವೆ. ಆ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳ ಪ್ರಕಾರವಾಗಿಯೇ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಣ ಕೋಟಿ. ಆದರೆ ಬಡವರು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಾರಣ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಲೋಚನಾ ಕ್ರಮಗಳಿದ್ದಾವಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು AC ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ಲಾನಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಸಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನೋವುಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ತೀರ ತಟ್ಟೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನರೇಗಾ ಬಂತು. ನರೇಗಾ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗೋದು. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಅನೇಕ ದೋಷಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಬಿಡಿ ದೋಷಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ನರೇಗಾ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಣ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ನರೇಗಾ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಬಹುತೇಕ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶ್ರಮಜೀವಿಗಳೇ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಗೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಹೋಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಣ ತೊಡಗಿಸುವ ಕ್ರಿಯೆ.
Ultimately, we are trying to understand the concept of economical growth will definitely create job opportunities and reduce the inflation rate. That is one of the concepts that we have to understand. Coming to the next aspect that we talk about the journey of a development. The first, which talked about the agriculture. I think sir was already mentioned about the few things, the Kisan credit card, and the one more is about the other beneficiary what has been given to agriculture. If you see, the Aryan, you can take this question. The Kisan credit card, what has been given, most of the agri entrepreneur whomever I met and talked about it, they felt this is a very good concept. What credit facility has been given to the agriculturists? Do you think this has some credibility?
So, be it the, thank you for the question first of all. Be it the agricultural aspect or our economy in general, in the urban and the rural divide that we see, what is the intent at the end of the day? Do we want to drive our economy and our society into a credit-based society forever? When will we get out of this vicious debt trap? We are feeling happy that there is a certain credit limit increased.
No,
or
adding to it, just a minute, I'm sorry. The problem here is then as an agricultural or the farmer, they are not being able to get the long-term and the short-term credit facility, where they're trying to talk about something called improving the or enhancing the agricultural productivity. Without having the financial assistance, the productivity or the growth in agricultural aspect, is it possible? That supplement the question of the credit card.
Sir, again, just coming back to the, okay, sticking to the agricultural concept, HYV or the high yielding variety of seeds have been a technique that the government has introduced since the independence, give or take 5 or 10 years into the independence. Even today, the farmer or the agriculturist is not being educated on development within his own land. Every time you look at an agriculturist, the first thing, two things you see is, one, he is looking into the to the sky for the rains, or he is looking into a fasika panda. That is all. Credit, I believe, yes, it looks at the outset, it looks good, it sounds very well. But if this was the situation, then we wouldn't have almost 1 lakh farmers protesting near the gates of Delhi who were prevented. The government would be in, like a panel discussion, even they would have the farmers to come in and speak with them if the government was doing the job in the right way. The credit limit is not actually the solution that the government should be giving. Rather, it should focus on educating the farmers. At the same time, recently, even in the budget, there has been a new scheme that has been brought into picture, the PMDDKY. So, Dandanya Krishi Yojana. So, what does it say? It says that 100 states across the country will be given, a boost or an infusion to ensure that the productivity in that area increases. But my question is in four formats. The first question, there is no budget allocation at all. If you see the budget, there is no amount that is mentioned. Second, there is no state list. What if this is a political appeasement? What if it, again, the Bimaru states, which politically is incorrect, the Bihar, the same old Madhya Pradesh, the same old Uttar Pradesh get this. And there is no yield there. I do not mean disrespect to the states, but the fact is fact. Apple ಮರದಲ್ಲಿ watermelon ಹುಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ, watermelon ಗಿಡದಲ್ಲಿ apple ಹುಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ. We need to understand that. Thirdly, the private players, what is their relation with the farming families? What if tomorrow the Malharis take over? What if tomorrow the Adanis take over? Where will the poor farmer go? He will sell the land under peer pressure and he will work as a slave there. So credit doesn't play any good picture. The scheme should focus on empowering the farmers and the agriculturists on the whole. And I think that more than the credit lines, the technical advancement and the knowledge advancement is much important. That will make efficient, and the credit card limit is not something that we should be celebrating, is what I personally feel.
Okay. Do you want to add something, ma'am? Or I'll change the question and ask you. Okay. I'll change the question. The program, the programs of what has been, as Aryan talked about, there is nothing much specific about the agriculture in the budget. But still, they're trying to talk about the focus on rural women, young farmers, rural youth, marginal and semi-farmers, and landless families. The problem here is, don't you think these are the people who are going for migration? Rural to urban, urban has become overcrowded, and there is a new set of a crisis which is happening in our urban areas.
I think this is also stopped working. Yeah, it is. This is a good question, but this will take some time for me to answer. Is it okay? ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಮೈಗ್ರೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬರೀ ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಿಂದ ಟೌನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟೌನಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ಮೆಗಾ ಸಿಟೀಸಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್, ರೂರಲ್ ಟು ಟೌನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ಟು ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ಸ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಈ ಮೈಗ್ರೇಷನ್ನು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಇದು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಇದು. ನಾ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ, ಯಾಕೆ ಇದಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಒಂದೇ ರೀಸನ್, ಇದು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಔಟ್ರೀಚ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ this can be answered at many levels. One is for a better life. ಇವತ್ತು ನೀರು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಟವರ್ ಅಂತೂ ಇದೆ. ಜನರಿಗೆ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ನ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬ್ರೈಟರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಕಾನಮಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ತರಕಾರಿ ಮಾಡೋರಿಂದ ಮೊದಲುಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಶಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಲ್ವರೆಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ UPI ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಜನ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಓ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್. ಹೂ ವುಡಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಅ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಲೈಫ್? ಶೆಲ್ಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So everybody wants a shelf life. Shelf inda tagolodu. Like you ask students only here. Students, I will ask you, how many of you know how many days does it take for a chili to grow, green chili to grow? How many days does it take for a green chili to grow? No, because see, this is the dilemma we are facing. ಇವಾಗ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಬರ್ತೀರಲ್ವ ಸರ್ ರೂರಲ್ ಇದರಿಂದ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಭತ್ತ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹಾಕೋದು, ಯಾವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಯಾಪ್ಲಿಂಗಿಂದ ತೆಗೆದು ಜಮೀನಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ನೀರು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಬಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಸ್ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ರೂರಲ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮಿಡಲ್ ಮೆನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. The disconnect is created the middlemen. ಸೊ ಮಿಡಲ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ನೇ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಿತ್ತಾಕಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಬಹುಶಃ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ, ಮಿಡಲ್ಮೆನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದಲಾಲ್ಸ್, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. We are, I mean, if I may give some statistics, before UPI ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸಿಟೀಸಿಂದ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸೇ 1000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು, 1000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಬರ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅವನಿಗೆ 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಮನೆಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವನಿಗೆ 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ನೀವು 1000 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ಜನ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಸೇರೋ ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ 800 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. 800 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಪ ಆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ, ಏನು ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ನೋ, there is just not lack of resources, there is lack of motivation. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಂತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕಿರಬೇಕು? ರಾಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟೇಕ್ ಯು ಟು ದ ರಾಂಗ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಸೊ ಈ ದಲಾಲ್ಸೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಪಾಪ ರೈತರೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಇವಾಗ ಹಾಗಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡೋಕ್ಕಿಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಅದರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿನೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಇದೆ ವಿಲೇಜಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಮೋಟಿವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್. ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಇದೆ, ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಸೆಟಪ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಮುಂದುವರಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡದೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜನ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಸೀಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಬೆಟರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಟು ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಗ್ರೀನರ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಸೈಡ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ವಿಲೇಜಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್, ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ನೋ ದಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಚುರೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೀ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕೀಗ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ರೇ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಲೇಜಸ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಗ್ರೇರಿಯನ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಎಕಾನಮೀಸ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವರ್ಕ್.
I will come to this and we'll go a little faster also. I think audience, I'm sure we will not bore you because some of the topics, it's a purely academic discussion that what is happening, and this is basically, I don't know how many of you watch news channels, the two prime debate channels, I don't know, but basically it's a kind of a situation that we have created, that to make an academic discussion, to impose few thoughts that might be directly, indirectly related to budget. The ultimately that we are trying to understand the objective of union budget is all about. Okay, as an audience, please keep your questions ready. Okay, so that you can also pose the questions once the events gets over. Probably I want to maintain the time. I'll maintain the time. Okay, so be a patient till then. Okay, so that we can able to continue the session. Okay, all of you. Yes, sir. Okay, so sir, Madam was talking about the microfinance in Karnataka. I think in 2009 also, 2006 also, it was an issue of a farmer committing suicide because of the microfinance kind of a pressure what has been given. When I started doing a research on microfinance, people used to laugh at me, microfinance has already died, why you have to make a research? But the point now, as ma'am said about the microfinance, one of the element, the other elements also is there in terms of migration is happening. If you can light upon that, we can able to touch. Otherwise, we'll go to the next part.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದರು. ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಿಂದ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾದರೆ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿರಬಹುದು, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ದುಡಿಮೆನೂ ಇದೆ, ಕಣ್ಣು ಕಾಣುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಬಗೆಯ ನೋಟ ಕ್ರಮ. ಅದರ ನಿಜ ಹೇಳೋದಾದರೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಜನ ಯಾಕೆ ನಗರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ ದುಡಿಮೆಗೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಬಹುತೇಕವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಮಾಡುವ ಯಾವ ಕೆಲಸವೂ ಲಾಭವಾಗಿ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒಬ್ಬ 2 ಎಕರೆ ಜಮೀನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರೈತ ಈ ಬಾರಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಶೇಂಗಾ ಹಾಕದ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಶೇಂಗಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಡಲೆಕಾಯಿ. ಅವನಿಗೊಂದು 20 ಚೀಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ 20 ಚೀಲ ಅವನು ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ರೇಟು 4-5 ಸಾವಿರ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅವನು ಬೆಳೆದು ಮಾರಾಟದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ 2,000ಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಮಧ್ಯವರ್ತಿಗಳು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಲೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು, ಆ 20 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಅಥವಾ 20 ಚೀಲ ಕಡಲೆಕಾಯಿ ಬೆಳಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಮಾರು 40,000-50,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟೋದಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಬರೀ 20,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅವನ ಶ್ರಮನೂ ವೇಸ್ಟು, ಅವನ ಬಂಡವಾಳನೂ ವೇಸ್ಟು. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನ ಶ್ರಮ ಏಕಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನ ಶ್ರಮ ಮತ್ತು ಬಂಡವಾಳ 2 ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು 1992ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸುವ ಸೋಪು ಕೇವಲ 13 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಈಗ ಅದು 180 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಥವಾ ಬಂಡವಾಳಶಾಹಿಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸುವ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯ ಬೆಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏರುಮುಖವಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾಗಲೇ ಇಳಿಮುಖವಾಗಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದರ ಬೆಲೆಯನ್ನು, ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅದರ ಬೆಲೆಯನ್ನೇ ನಿರ್ಧರಿಸುವನು ಅವನ ಮಾಲೀಕನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ರೈತರ ಕತೆ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಹುಡುಗನಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಶೇಂಗಾ ಕೆಜಿ ಎಷ್ಟಪ್ಪ, ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಬೆಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅಬ್ಬಬ್ಬ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅವಾಗ 3-4 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತೊಂದು 30 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದು ಈ 30 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಏರುಗತಿ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಶ್ರಾವಣದಲ್ಲಿ 120 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ರೈತರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಾಳೆ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಶ್ರಾವಣ ಮುಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಒಂದು ಕೆಜಿ. ಅದು ಹೊಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಬರೀ 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ರೈತನಿಗೆ ತಾನು ಬೆಳೆದಂತಹ ಬೆಳೆಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಲೆ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಆದರೂ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದಲ್ಲ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಒಂದು 20,000 ಆದರೂ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಭಾಳ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನನಗನ್ಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಭಾಳ ದುಃಖದಿಂದ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹರಿಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದ ಡೈಲಿ ವೇಜಸ್ಗೆ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಊರಿನ ಗೌಡ ತನ್ನ ಜಮೀನನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಾರ್ದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಮಾರುವೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಗೇಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಗೇಟ್ ಕೀಪರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನು ದುರಂತ ನೋಡಿ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಯಾಕೆ ಕನಕಪುರ ಸುತ್ತಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಸುತ್ತ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಜಮೀನು ಇದ್ದಂಥವರು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಜಮೀನು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗಳು ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೇಟ್ ಕೀಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಯ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಹಣ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಮರಿಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರೋ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರು, ಒಂದು 2-3 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಕಾರು ಕಾರಂಗೆ ಓಡಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರು. 4-5 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ವಲಸೆಯ ಕ್ರಮ ಏನು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಒಂದು ಮುಖವನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೇವೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇರಬಹುದಾದ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನೋಡುವ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ.
So, just one quick point I'll not take a lot of time. If you see the migration from the rural to the urban in the northern part of India, it is not as fast compared to the southern part of India. The policy or the ideology behind it is simple. In the fields of Punjab or Haryana, when you go, you see he goes in a G-Wagon, he comes in a Lamborghini. There is a reason to it, not only because of the high yield, but also there is a unity amongst the agriculturists. They demand their rights. They go ahead and they demand their rights. But here what happens, like sir said, ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ತಂದೆ ಹತ್ರ 10 ಎಕರೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ 2 ಗುಂಟೆ ಉಳಿಯೋದು ಕೊನೆಗೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ. ಇದೇ ನೀವು ನೋಡೋದಾದರೆ ಸರ್, ರಾಮನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ವೇ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ 70,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇತ್ತು ಗುಂಟೆ. ನಾವೇ ರೀಸೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಾಗ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಗುಂಟೆ. ಹಂಗಂತ ನೀವು ಪಾಪ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ದ ರೇಟ್ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಫಾರ್ 1 ಗುಂಟೆ 1 ಎಕರೆ ಈಸ್ ಇಮೆನ್ಸ್. ಸರಿ, ಐ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್, ಐ ಆಸ್ಟ್ ಮೈ ಫಾದರ್, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಸಿಗ್ತಲ್ಲ 2.5 ಕೋಟಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂದ ತಿಂದು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್, ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್. ದಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರಿಸ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಯೂನಿಯನ್. They need to say the state government needs to give us this. That is when we will start shifting. The unilateral shift towards the urban side will come back to the rural side. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಜಮೀನಿದೆ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋಣ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. And in several parts of Switzerland there's something called as community farming, where every person cannot individually grow whatever they want. Like sir said, ಬಾಳೆ ಬಂತ ಬಾಳೆ, ಶೇಂಗಾ ಬಂತ ಶೇಂಗಾ, ಅದು ಮಾಡೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. The government gives you a timeline within which what you will grow so that you get good money. And you are also given the social status. So I think those are the techniques that needs to be inculcated to avoid the migration.
These are the few points.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದರು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಶೇಂಗಾ ಈ ಥರ ರೇಟ್. ಈ ಸರ್ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಒಂದು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಕೆಲವೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೇಜ್ ಇದೆ, ಗೋಡೌನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನನಗೆ ನಾನು ಬೆಳೆದಿರೋ ಬೆಳೆಗೆ ರೇಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಗೋಡೌನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು ಎರಡನೇ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಅದು ಬೆಳೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ರಿ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಇರೋದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮದು ಮಂತ್ಲಿ ವೇಜಸ್ಸು, ಡೈಲಿ ವೇಜಸ್ಸಿಗೆ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ದು ಏನು ಖರ್ಚು ವೆಚ್ಚಗಳಿಗೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ತೂಗಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೂರನೇದು ಬಂದು ಇವತ್ತೇನು ನಮ್ದು ಇರೋಂಥ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ಗಳು ರೈತರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ, ನಾವು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಈಗ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರೋಲ್ಲ. ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಇದು ತೊಗೊಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಥರ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ವಾತಾವರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿಲ್ಲ, ರೈತರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್ ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸರ್. ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಮಾಗಡಿ ಟು ನೆಲಮಂಗಲ ರೋಡ್ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ನೀವು, ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡೋರು. ಈಗ there is a concept of poly house where they grow exotic fruits and flowers, which you must know, vegetables also. Sir, it started as it was actually given by one of the the schools which is I'm not getting the name, but it was agriculture based. One kade poly house set up ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು sir. It was a success. ತಗೋ ಎಲ್ಲಾರು poly house. Today those lands are coming down with no value. And the poly house has, the soil is also eroded now, because it requires a different kind of fertilizer for a different kind of crop. So again, ASE is going up. Like the moment you give a solution, like sir said, one solution everybody will grab. And when the poly house is set up, east price idre land indu. For example, people who do not have large tracts of land, they go for renting a piece of land, and the rents will go up. And the rents, mind you, are so high that even warehousing industry can compete with them. So that is the problem that we face today. Everybody wants to get a piece of the cake.
Okay, so this is about the agricultural aspect. Then one more aspect with respect to manufacturing. I think initially only they talked about the manufacturing aspect. I have one question to any one of you can take this question. Is India having a talent deficit?
Manufacturing sector? We don't have a talent deficit, but we are not creating the right kind of talent pools. It again bogs down to education. Igenagutte gotta? I'll give you a simple example. ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ AI ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು AI ಏನು ಅಂತ? ಅಯ್ಯೋ, ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ.
Does it create a job? Where does it come? How does it come?
How does it work?
Cost?
See, the most important thing you have to know about AI is how does AI work? ChatGPT and DeepSeek alla AI. Or nim PPT presentations cut copy paste madakirodalla AI. There is so many things. Like, let's talk about softwares like Zoho, Voodoo, Sage 300. Idella ivattu AI powered softwares. ಅದು ಹಾಗಂತ AI powered softwares ಅಂದರೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು it's not machine learning and coding, which is usually done by software technologists. But as students coming from the non-technical zone, ಅವರು machine learning ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು?
Correct.
They have to learn what is known as AI managing tools.
True.
See, that is where the talent pool is lacking. I'm coming from the corporate and I have no hesitation in saying, are there no jobs in the corporate? There are. There are plenty of jobs. Yaake jobs adu fill ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? There is no right skill set for that. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಆ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ನ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದನೋ ಕರೆಸಿದಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಂಬಳ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್. So it is not that there is dearth of skill or talent, but people don't know how to understand what is their actual talent and how to go about seeking a job.
Okay. We'll go to the other aspect, so that I'll come to the tax, the major aspect, so that we'll go to the audience, to the polls. I think what ma'am said, it's more apt for you, because once you leave the college, once you finish your course, you'll all be searching for a job, and it's easy to blame a college, it's easy to blame the department, it's easy to blame a teacher that you have not got a job. But you have to start questioning yourself that how credible you are, how worthy you are. That is where that we have to start thinking about it. I think that is one of the reason this question was been asked. A trade deficit, it is not a trade deficit, it's a deficit among yourself that you have created it. That is one. Okay. And in the budget also, they talked about something called, they want to create more number of the hospitals. They want to create IITs. They want to create more number of seats for IITs and IIMs. And don't you think, again this question is open to everybody, anybody can take this. Don't you think this kind of a false promises which has been given by the government, because the problem, I'll tell you, university there is no recruitment, hospital there is no doctors. If there is no doctors, if there is no recruitment in the university, what is the use of creating more number of seats to our colleges when there is no teachers? What is the point the students will be doing it? One question. The second question is, in Rajasthan it has happened situation that there was no doctors, where the doctors are learning the subject through Google, that is YouTube, and they're learning the subject. Imagine tomorrow they comes and do an operation for us, a surgery for us, seeing YouTube video. Imagine what happens. This is what the problem is all about. I think anybody can take this and address this issue.
You want to take Aryan? Education sector idu. Okay, I'll just give my viewpoints. ಬಹುಶಃ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Number one, I mean, these are some of the points that I think will work. Why is there no
recruitment for you? Yeah. Doctors are not in hospital.
Why is it that we're increasing for hospitals and?
No, they're saying that I'm increasing the capacity of a hospital bed. We're increasing the more AIIMS hospital or central hospitals, as well as IITs and IIMs in a respective states in the country. But the point is, when there is no people, what is the point of increasing the number of seats?
Okay, there are people. ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಂತು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಸರ್, ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್, ಐ ಫೀಲ್ ಅಗೇನ್. We have about 1.4 billion.
Why I ask this question is basically, you all have a brother, sister, you all have a cousins who have a plan, aspiration to take up engineering, who have an ambition to become a doctors, or planning to go for IITs, IIMs, I don't know. But the point is, when you are trying to tell them that we are increasing number of seats, but most of the university have no professors only. Most of the colleges, hospitals have no doctors only. How many of you go to a government hospital for the treatment? That is where we need to talk about something that's very sensible.
If I may.
Yeah, please.
When you talk about teachers, there aren't teachers in the educational institutions. So, how many of you want to become a professor in the future? First, give a round of applause. I'll tell you why. Right. I'll tell you why. Because out of give or take 200 people of whoever is seated here, tomorrow you might go out and get a job for yourself, for your family, for your future generation. But she has the potential to give an output of 200 brilliant and educational minds like yours. But again, teacher, professor, I don't mean any disrespect. Coming from a law school, I have seen every time a law professor walked in, I'm just giving my own example, where every time a law professor walked in, the first statement that would come was, oh, court al vada manne madak bandilla, adike il bandavre. Right? And when you graduate from premier institutions like AIIMS, IIT, of course your ideology will be to go in a Lamborghini. That is the common criteria. And increasing
as you said about IITs, not necessary it should be Lamborghini. In Ayodhya, we saw a few days in a Kumbh Mela, we saw one IITian being a sadhu.
Sir.
I mean, I'm saying there is another set of an example also is there.
Though I do respect you and your point of view, but the truth is, come on girls, seriously. And by the way, let us just agree to disagree. Heartbreak ಆಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ he went into the Kumbh Mela. Okay, so that is the reason, not because of IIT and all. See, that's the power of a girl. She can turn an IITian to a sadhu. Give yourself a round of applause, ladies. Yes.
See, ultimately, what is happening is the labor market, which is creating, whether India is creating a depressed kind of a world, or the labor intensive is becoming so depressive, that is all we need to start thinking about it. Because tomorrow, the sector like a manufacturing, sector like a health, sector like a education, which will create labor intensive force or more. That is one of the reasons this was question has been asked actually.
Can I add on to this? I'd like to add on to this. I'll give you some statistics. You only saw one Abhay Singh on Mahakumbh, but you will be surprised to know about the statistics that's recently released. There are more than 25,000 people from premier institutes, just not IITs. Don't consider IIT as one of the only premier institutes in India. You have about close to 2,000 ISRO scientists, some 2,000 senior technologists from IISc, IIMs, IITs, people who have been in very glorified positions military personnel, everybody becoming sadhus. Okay, so this is something that I'd like to highlight. So the next thing is I'd like to add on is knowledge and information are two different things. Don't consider information to be knowledge. That's my argument. See, I come from GSB, Stanford School of Business. It's the birthplace of Google. 2 students from that campus started Google. Those students were clearly inspired and driven by something. And there was an undying passion to do something. Yenu ilde, yenu marde, you cannot expect success to come to you just because you have a ChatGPT and DeepSeek, somebody is giving you information and you're not using your gray matter that is already there to create something. Creativity requires a deep sense of innovation that comes from a very deep place within. And that has to be an inspiration. It cannot just come from the air. ಅದೇ ಇವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ರು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಸ್ತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರಲ್ಲ ಪಾಲಿ ಹೌಸ್, ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡೋದು. Why? Because there's a lack of creativity, because people are running only on information. And we do need professors. We do need academia to teach you and show you the right direction. Corporate, gig workers, manufacturing, everything on one side, ladies and gentlemen. Education on one side. If you don't know knowledge, don't expect success. It's as simple as that. Cut, copy, paste era illa. Top leaders, even today, they don't do cut, copy, paste. And don't underestimate that industry nalli sumne banbitidira anta takshana SSLC pass agidare adike avrige kelsa siktu nodi ivatte ಎಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅವನು SSLC degree ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. Go through the hard work these people have put in. And that hard work requires perseverance. You require a mentor who is going to direct you to a certain place and position. And it requires a certain amount of knowledge, not information. And I don't think there is any other place where you can get knowledge apart from universities, schools, your professors. Just because you're not engaging and you're not challenging your professors enough, that doesn't mean the professor does not have the knowledge. You should come prepared to challenge your professors. But if you don't have the capability to challenge your professors, don't call education a joke. It is not a joke. It is clearly not a joke. So, the answer to your question, Abhinandan, is you need education. You need teachers. And without that foundation scheme of things, you cannot build anything. Even Google, Apple, IoT, the Internet of Things, and all the things were built on certain mentoring from certain colleges and certain institutions. So hats off to what you guys are doing. You guys are doing a phenomenal job of raising responsible future citizens.
You want to take, sir? Or we'll go to next. You want to take? Okay, we'll finish up. So we are coming to the last segment, that is the taxation part, because this is one of the core area that we've been talking about so far. And in the course of time, we are trying to talk about the few aspects. Probably those few aspects could able to cover the majorly what we have to cover on the budget that we have to talk about it. So we'll exclusively come to our Anla, so she can talk about what is this, the tax is all about, what the government is trying to give, and who are those beneficiaries who are getting the benefit. And for example, tomorrow when you when you get placed in a campus placement, when you leave the institution and when you start earning an income, what you're supposed to do? If you don't pay the tax, what is the consequences? Do we have to pay the tax? Or if you don't have that source of income, what is the necessary that filing of a returns? If you don't file the returns, what happens? If you can tell to our students, that is one question. The second question is about, there are many teaching staff, non-teaching staff whose salary is less than 12 lakhs who are also working in the institution. The question arises, do they have to file the returns? If they don't file the returns, what will be the consequences will happen? That also you can talk about this.
Okay. The union budget says that the income tax is exempt till 12 lakhs. But then if you go and look at the breakdown, you have the 4 lakhs that is completely exempt. Then you have the 7 lakhs, which is at about 5%. Then you have about 10 lakhs, which is at 10%. So before I get into the slabs, I'd like to say why do we have to tax in the first place? The reason why taxation system is created, or for that matter, in the urban societies, why do we think taxation is because this country comes with its own identity. I'm sure as commerce students, I'm sure most of you are commerce students, as the Companies Act automatically says that company is an individual. Yeah. Similarly, a country is sovereign. It has national boundaries. And we have selected the government, the governance at the center. So the government is acting on behalf of us to make things possible for us. This is the fundamental rule. You can't use a road for free. You can't take a train for free. Even the houses that you're living in are not for free. Why? Because it belongs to a sovereign nation. It belongs to a geographical border. We call ourselves as India. And the government that is selected by the people, for the people and to the people, what they do is they are just mere representatives of what we are trying to do. So everything costs money. So the government has to run business, isn't it? So in order to run business, we have to take a portion of your money as not tax. I wouldn't call it tax because tax would be a very brutal name. It is a very colonial name, I feel. You know, it's not tax. It is taking a portion of your money where you have spent everything for your own economic growth. Whatever slightly surplus that remains, we use that to develop infrastructures to make your life easy, not their life easy. That is the intention of tax. So the union budget is given a lot of taxes, and we've had plenty of taxation slabs for a very, very long time. Now when Nirmala Sitharaman says the taxes will be exempt till 12 lakhs, what does it say for the first place? It says that our economic power has grown. That means an average working class within the GDP is able to generate 12 lakh rupees. What is the percentage of that? You will be surprised to know close to 45% of this country can generate 12 lakhs, be it entrepreneurs, be it business, be it individuals, or be it professionals. Yeah? Everybody can generate an income of 12 lakhs per annum. So the first thing that you will have to understand is, if the tax exemption is gone up to 12 lakhs, that means the income growing capabilities is also growing. Now, why do we have to stop at 12 lakhs? We could have stopped at 10, no? We could have stopped at 8, but we stopped at 12, but we also broken it down between two other slabs within the 12 lakhs, which is 4 lakhs and which is the 7 lakhs. Now, this particular thing, one is 5%, the other one is 7%, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So what is this? We call this in technical terms as the marginal relief the government is giving people like us. Don't forget, you also have Section 80 under the Income Tax Act, which gives you a lot of rebates. These rebates come in the form of 100% returns to you. And companies, entrepreneurs like, people sitting here on the dais, they have in terms of under Section 32, which is depreciation. Depreciation and rebates are something that is there on paper. You cannot establish a depreciation. These things are on the paper. That's all. It is not in reality. The reality of things don't work. But from the government standpoint or from the income standpoint, it is a relief that is being given for taxpayers like people sitting here and people like you. So this is one of the aspects why income tax is at 12. Okay? So anybody within that bracket, do they have to file taxes? Of course they have to file. Why? Because income tax is just not to understand how much of an economic income that people are generating. I mean, the government is not that mean-minded. We need statistics. We need data, as we call it in today's world. We need to know what is the economic cadre of people. In what section are the people surviving? This is an important economic data for budgets. So we need this economic data, and that is one of the reasons why we have to file. Every year, people within 12 lakhs category also has to file. Even if you don't have to pay income tax, you still have to file for returns, for the fact that the government needs to know what kind of money you're making. Number one. Number two is skill enhancement. What is the educational pattern of these people? Now, when I say I'm a chartered accountant / consultant, I make more money in the industry. So if I make more money in the industry, so that means this is a niche skill to have. Consulting, management consulting is a niche skill. Let's say somebody is an entrepreneur. Let's say he's an SME who is having a turnover of 50 crores and under. So what is the amount of people that are there? And how are their geographical significance? And what is the economical consequences of this? These are some of the important data that we do, and based on this, we do what is known as a predictive analysis, a prescriptive analysis. These are some of the AI tools that are largely used in the government today. A predictive analysis tells that if this amount of people are within 5 lakhs of income, or this amount of people are within 3 lakhs of income, per annum that is, or people coming from agricultural background have this amount of income, people who are entrepreneurs are having this amount of income. You know, we create what is known as a predictive analysis to understand how the future trajectory is going to look like. Need not be this is perfect, but we can achieve perfection up till 95%, 5% being risk anomaly, which every transaction or every modeling gives. 5% is an anomaly we always give out. So people under 12 lakhs have to file for income tax. Above 12 lakhs, definitely yes. Why 12 lakhs? I told you, depending on the data that we have received for past 1 year, based on that we have come to this figure. This figure is not come from a political party or to appease a section of people, nothing. We have seen that there is an increase in the income. We have seen that there is the people close to 200,000 people every year are coming out of the poverty line in this country. So that shows growth. So when there is growth, we have to tax you because you are making use of the government's property. Haven't you seen railway lines and bus lines that are being constructed, and the government gives a notice, please vacate the land. There is nothing you can do. If there is a military installation that's happening or a space installation that is happening, we always say, please vacate the land. And we need this income tax in order to spread it across the social consequence of all acts. See, you cannot be an agrarian-based economy, you cannot be a technology-based economy, you cannot just be a consulting-based economy, or you cannot just produce human capital for the world. You need to be a mix of everything. A mix of everything, and you need to excel in space so that we can create more space jobs. So today, Bangalore is just not the IT hub, Bangalore is also the aerospace hub. There are 800 odd companies that are contributing in aerospace. ISRO is going to privatize very soon. So there is a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities, people who are looking into the aerospace engineering or aerospace technologies. There is a lot of IT services that is coming up in this country. IT services, not process-driven industries. There's a lot of AI tool companies, startups that have started in this, especially in Bangalore. And there are a lot of other things that are coming. Manufacturing, yes, we are slightly suffering in manufacturing, let's not go there. But look at the restaurant business. Now, people like Malgudi Days are able to make money because you are able to spend. And that spending thing is coming from these tax reliefs. Now, what happens when you get a tax relief from the government? 12 lakhs is a huge amount of money for anyone. So what happens? You save. Your savings will just not go in eateries or buying gold. You will also go and spend. Your purchasing power increases. At the same time, as Aryan rightly said, there are diversified portfolios and investment opportunities available today. Government is also looking at making cryptocurrencies as one of the trading points in India. It is also looking at it. So it gives you an extra opportunity to build something. Or if you go and invest in mutual funds or stock markets, it's only going to enhance the economy than hurt the economy. So it is a cyclical reaction. So everybody has to file income taxes, whether you're within the bracket or above the bracket. You have to file because the government needs your data. The second thing is, if you want to pay income tax, please pay taxes. It's not for the government. And the third thing, when you see a lot of scandals and scams that happen, please don't glorify those people, because any scam, any fraud, any scandals, it's your tax money. It is your money that is being loitered. Please do not, and spend cautiously. Invest in the right kind of systems. Invest with the right kind of people. Invest in the right, get the expert help and the right set of know-how. That's going to help you. That's going to make the economic powerhouse run. So the tax slabs, the income tax slabs, given the fact that only 4% of India's population is paying income tax, the rich also don't pay, the poor also don't pay. But indirect taxes, for your kind information, 100% of this country pays indirect taxes. So we have dealt, but that amount of tax is not enough for us to grow into a 7% GDP.
As Madam was talking about the indirect tax, let us talk about the statistics. If you see, my question was that for the next one. The personal tax and the corporate tax, if you see the last 2020 onwards, the corporate tax is relatively coming down, the personal tax is relatively increasing. That means to say that the people of a personal individual taxpayers are increasing, the corporate tax are coming down. There is a kind of an appeasement from the government saying that we are in favor to the corporate, not to the middle class. Now, that was one of the reasons this budget was a middle class budget. Was it true or wrong?
I'm sorry, I beg to differ with you. Corporates never have it easy. I mean, we might not get into a corporate tax slab, but we do have what is known as MAT, minimum alternative tax. Yeah, that is one aspect. Second aspect, we have the advance tax that we keep paying every quarterly. Because at every quarterly, we need to file our returns and we really have to see, and we have to pay advance taxes. So it is not that the taxes are coming down, but there is a third element that the government has created, which is known as government and private sector collaborative works. And for that, the government is becoming the major stakeholder within the work that they are doing. So the corporate is funding it and the government is taking a larger initiative. For that, and companies are finding it extremely profitable because it is a collab work. So because it is collaborative based, company also makes money and the government also is making money. Perhaps that is one of the areas where the tax exemptions are being given. But I don't think so. The corporate taxes have come down, and the middle class, as they call it, I think they are the ones who are running the economy. I think this budget will definitely help the middle class spend more and earn more.
Okay. I think I said I'll keep my time. It's 4 o'clock. Last two questions to wind up this part of segment. That is on one is on the government has given some kind of exemption for the house property, that is self-occupied property. What is it? Is it a key takeaway? Is it good or bad?
Okay. I will not take much of your time again. House property, yes, self-occupied property was never taxed. That's always been an exemption. It's going to continue as an exemption on self-occupied houses.
Individual can able to claim. And today morning also I was discussing with Asundar Krishna sir, and he was also telling about the builders are more happy because people can able to buy more houses because exemptions are there. People no need to pay, so spending limit will go up. So a lot of going on, I think.
See, again, it comes back to the same thing, Abhinandan, because you've given the first slab at 12 lakhs. You're giving them a tax relief of close to 65,000 to 70,000, which qualifies for one EMI. So it is like burning in the economy itself. As Aryan said, you're just going to take it and burn it at the end of the day.
So I think we have come to end of the session. They are very excited. So So audience, you can ask any questions if you have it. Was it good? Did you all learn something? Yes, I know it is boring, but still.
Anyone? Okay, if you don't want to be pointed out, you can just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Do you think that the budget is women friendly? How many for yes? Simple as that. How many for up? No. So you have not read the budget properly then. Anyways, look. The budget is women friendly only to the rural parts of India, because this time we could see only mention of rural women. But how many of you have shopped at Zara or H&M? Come on man, be frank. Zara, H&M. Okay, what is the one common name that you see on the manufacturer tag? Girls, I'm asking from your own domain. How come you're not able to answer? Huh? Made in Bangladesh. Right? So if you see, the per capita GDP of Bangladesh is better than India. Given the war situation, that's different. So what I'm trying to tell here is, if I were to comment on the budget and the women-centric opportunities that the budget has given, I believe that the women force should be involved in economic policy as such made. Can you tell why? Because you women are good at one thing. Tell me what it is. Wonderful. Can we have a round of applause? My own mother is an example. He'll quote 1,000 rupees, she'll tell 100 rupees ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ. So right ladies, so that was just one input that I had. I felt like I was going to ask that question to you as an audience, but I hope we have not bored you, because the kind of information I have received from, including the moderator, the people here, was immense. And thank you for your gracious time. Thank you all. Thank you, moderator.
So I call the MC to hand over the session.
To conclude the enlightened discussion, I invite our moderator, Dr. Abhinandan sir, to summarize the key points of today's session.
Okay, as I said, I'll not take much time, and I told you I'll keep my time. Okay. Tea is arranged to all of you. After the session, you all can have a tea. So, and that too, and it is sponsored by our Shiv Kumar, a Malgudi Chai. Give a round of applause to sir. For the entire crowd, I told sir, crowd will be 100 more. So I said, no worries sir, I'll make sure that I'll give you the best of best to all the students. Okay, coming to the summary of the session. The entire session was, the question was, is this ultimate middle class budget? Will the budget kickstart economical growth? And does it create a job creation? Or does it increase the income? This was the entire, the discussion was all about. I hope the discussion made us to think about the different lines where the economy that has to think about it, where we have to think about increase the production, where we have to increase the job creation, and also the kind of information what the panelists have given with respect to tax, with respect to agriculture, with respect to other domain, what has been happening in today's world. I hope you all have received the information that can help you to capitalize for your future. I wish you all the best. Thank you for being a patient throughout the session.
Thank you sir for your thoughtful recap. Every successful event is a result of teamwork and efforts. To formally express gratitude, I invite Priya to deliver the vote of thanks.
As we approach the end of this insightful session, it is my privilege to deliver the oath of thanks on behalf of MLAC. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. Nagalakshmi BN, for her guidance and unwavering support in organizing this event. Thank you, ma'am, for setting the stage with your words in absence. I extend my sincere appreciation to our head of the department, Professor Manjula Shekhar, for her continuous encouragement throughout the planning of this session. Thank you, ma'am, in her absence. I would like to thank CA Anala Padmanabha, McNasty and Company Director. Thank you for sharing your expert insights on the economic impact of the Union Budget 2025. I request Bhuvaneshwari ma'am to deliver token of appreciation. voices added immense value to our understanding of the budget's implications. I would like to request Bhuvneshwari ma'am to deliver the token of appreciation. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to thank Mr. Shivraj Kumar H, founder and director of Malgudi Amrita Chaha. We deeply appreciate your unique perspective on entrepreneurship and the role of traditional practices in modern ventures. I would also like to thank Mr. Aryan DJ, Advocate Bengaluru. Your explanation of the legal frameworks associated with the budget was highly enlightening. I would also like to thank our moderator, Dr. Abhinandan sir. Thank you for steering the panel discussion with such clarity and fairness, making it engaging and thought-provoking. Thank you, sir. A special note of thanks to the organizing team, faculty members and students of the Department of Commerce for their tireless efforts and dedication in bringing the event of life. To our students and audience, your active participation, curiosity and engagement during the session made it all the more meaningful. Finally, I extend my gratitude to the technical team, support staff and everyone who worked behind the scenes to ensure the seamless execution of this event. As we close, let us carry forward the knowledge and insights gained today, reflect on how the Union Budget 2025 shapes our nation's future. Once again, thank you all for being here and contributing to the success of this event. I would also like to take a moment to thank our event sponsor, Malgudi Amrita Chaha, a venture founded by Mr. Shivraj Kumar H, established in April 2021. This initiative is dedicated to serving healthy and traditionally prepared beverages like tea at an affordable price. Their unique recipe, premium quality ingredients, and the commitment to empowering rural and educated youth make them stand out in the market. Inspired by the legendary Kannada actor Shri Shankar Nag, Malgudi Amrita Chaha truly embodies the spirit of determination and innovation. We are grateful for your support and contribution to making this event a success. We would like to take a moment to express our grateful attitude to the Edify Institute of their generous sponsorship. Edify Institute's commitment to providing high quality computer education has made a significant impact on our community. Their dedication to developing skilled software professionals is truly admirable. We are thrilled to have Edify Institute as a part of our team and are grateful for their support. Their contribution has enabled us to briefly thank you, for Edify Institute, for your kindness and generosity. We look forward to continuing our partnership and working together to achieve great things. Thank you, students, for joining us for this engaging session. We hope you found the insightful and thought-provoking. Have a great day. Let us conclude today's event by standing in respect for the national anthem.
Tomorrow there is an exam, but still they're all here, and with the kind of dedication and commitment I can able to see, and also the faculties of Department of Commerce, Yashaswini, Varsha, Dr. Bhuvneshwari ma'am, Usha, Tejaswini, Sandhya, Madhumita, Sri Lakshmi, Apurva. I hope everybody is here. So thank you all for your support, making this program to be successful. I think with this, without you mentioning your names, it would not be possible. That's the reason. Okay, thank you.